Oh my gosh, ghosts. So, story about that haunted schoolhouse. There's actually a myth, legend, real story that back in the 1800s, when it was used as a schoolhouse, this school teacher and her kids were in there, and the school teacher went batshit crazy and like murdered her students. Some say that it was a fire, but she killed all of her students, she killed herself, and now they haunt the area back there. So, if you go back there at night, it's like really, really creepy, and you'll hear the screams of the children as they're being murdered. And the school teacher, you can see her sometimes walking around the schoolhouse, really slowly, casually, just walking around her territory. So it's creepy. Another story I have of that schoolhouse is my freshman year. There was a group of us, me, two girls from down the hall, and two guys from upstairs. We heard the story of the schoolhouse, so we decided to go down to the Hollow and check it out. Well, my freshman year, the Hollow was technically off limits, so of course we snuck down there because why are you just going to stay out of a place that's off limits? So we snuck down to the Hollow, and we were walking around, and this is all of our first times in there and everything, and we see it, and at that time, the windows were not boarded up. So the guys that I was with, they hopped inside of the schoolhouse, and oh my gosh, it was so creepy in there. Um, Stop it. Cat is driving me wild. For Halloween, we decided, okay, let's scare the shit out of these girls. So what we did was we had the guys dress up in their creepy Halloween costumes, and they went down to the Hollow ahead of us. And the girls actually didn't know that the guys were down there. So the guys were down there, and they were hiding. They had put one of the guys inside of the schoolhouse, and one of them was just like around it. And that night, part of the plan, I asked the girls, I was like, hey, you know what would be a really cool Halloween idea? Let's go down to the Hollow without the guys, see if we can see anything. So I got them to come down to the Hollow by the schoolhouse, and we get down there, and we're about where the old grill is, and I stopped them both, and I'm like, do you hear anything? And they stop listening, and they're like freaking out because, oh my gosh, ghosts. And you can see one of the guys, he started to come around, like, so you could just see his dark shadow and everything. He was walking really, really slow. And the girls just started freaking out. They were like, oh my god, it's a ghost! Then we got closer. I was like, let's just move really slow. It's probably just a shadow. So now we get close to the schoolhouse, and the guy who is inside of the house comes up slowly from the window, and we were close enough where you could like see a face, but you couldn't tell who it was. He just had this real stoic expression on his face, like, and it was so epic. Those girls were frightened out of their pants. It was an awesome, scary story. I like playing pranks on people. But that's my story of the schoolhouse. There's actually another story, it doesn't really have to do with the schoolhouse, but when we were creeping around my freshman year, there was this old building on campus called Little Theater. It's torn down now, but they didn't keep it locked all the time, and we went in there. Well, I actually didn't go inside because honestly I was too frightened, because as a theater student you go into a completely dark, abandoned old theater. That's like I don't really believe in ghosts, honestly, but for some reason, like, dark theaters are creepy. So they go inside, and I'm on the outside with some of the other guys, just like watching, making sure that there's no cops or anything. And I'm like facing away from the building, but I know that the other guys are like not near the door, and all of a sudden I hear this big boom, and it was the door. It just slammed shut, and we had it propped open, so that was really creepy. That hollow is a creepy, creepy place.